Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just DCTV as a whole, because we've got a few things to go over, a bit of a mishmash. So we are now, I think, a week into 2023 when this video will go up, which means that the start is close for the newest and maybe last seasons of DCTV on the CWs. Like, who knows if that will be the case? Who knows? But many are bracing themselves for that being the case. But let's not sit on that for too long. We, of course, have The Flash back in pretty much exactly a month from now. I think a month and 1 day from now. About a month or so. But about a month or so after The Flash comes back, so pretty much in just over 2 months from now, we have the season premiere for both Superman and Lois and the series premiere for Gotham Knights on the same night. Superman and Lois being first, and then Gotham Knights airing afterwards. Now, there hasn't been a ridiculous amount revealed for either of the shows. Probably more for Gotham Knights, I guess, considering that they did release the trailer for the pilot episode around the middle of last year, roughly. But that's just for the first episode, not even the first 3 or something like that, just the first one. So for the entire seasons as a whole, neither has really shown too much. However, their promotional campaigns will probably start around the time that The Flash premieres in, as I said, around a month, or maybe just before The Flash comes out, and then they can play those trailers in ad breaks over the gap until they premiere, which is, while The Flash is airing. I mean, that's what I would expect, but who knows? But in this video, we are going to be going over a surprising of sorts reveal for Gotham Knights that would please some people that were hoping this would happen on the show in some way, and then some Superman and Lois stuff as well, which is quite interesting and could help in the future of the show if that help is actually needed, depending on what happens over the next few months. But the first thing to jump into is this Gotham Knights stuff, which is not too long, but I guess it's the thing that caught my eye the most. So the biggest cast member that Gotham Knights has is Misha Collins, who was on Supernatural. It's definitely the most well-known actor on the show. A lot of the other actors on the show, or at least like the main cast that are appearing in most of the episodes, are pretty new for the most part, or I think some of them were on Disney Channel or something like that. But Misha Collins is the only one that I recognize, really. But he, as the most well-known person, obviously if he posts something, it's going to get a lot of eyes on it. And he did post a video of a supposed Two-Face makeup test, or just the process of him becoming Two-Face. Now, as you can see it playing on screen right now, this is what was going on. And I was wondering, okay, is this like a throwback video that was happening on Supernatural? I didn't watch Supernatural, so I don't know if this happened to his character. But the song that was used on the video is the Harvey Dent theme from the Dark Knight film, like the Christopher Nolan film, like Harvey Two-Face, I think is the actual soundtrack name or the song name. Now, this obviously was very surprising to see, because I thought, oh, okay, well, he's just Harvey Dent on the show. I don't know if they'll do Two-Face, they'll probably just leave it. So this is happening, and it makes you really think what's going on. So does he become Two-Face sometime into season 1? It's a possibility. I mean, they would be filming, in their back half as well. They'd probably be in like episode 8, 9, maybe 10. I'm not too sure what their schedule's been. I don't think there's been too many updates with it, but they'd be around that portion. They'd definitely be towards the end of season 1 filming. So easily could it be him becoming Two-Face, and maybe it's a big event that happens throughout the season. Or it could be some weird like nightmare dream thing potentially. That could be what's going on. But that'd be weird, unless it's like sort of like to fulfill him looking like Two-Face, or actually being Two-Face without actually being Two-Face in the actual story of the show. I'm not too sure exactly what's going on there, because obviously the story of the show is that Batman is killed and there's a whole investigation around that. So would you do Two-Face when Batman is not around, or there wasn't Two-Face when Batman was around, but then he's there after he is killed? I'm not too sure. But then again, it's important to remember, this is an Elseworld story where Batman dies, or died, while he was still in his prime, I guess. So I guess it would make sense in some way that there wouldn't be a Two-Face, and that would come maybe a bit later if Batman was to stay alive. I'm not too sure, but I guess the big question is like, okay, well, if he becomes Two-Face, what's the story then? I have no idea. I don't know what the story there, unless he was the real one that killed Batman, and it was all part of his plan. I'm not too sure. I don't think there's going to be any weird thing where he was Two-Face all along and he was wearing makeup to make sure, like, to cover up that he was Two-Face. It's probably something that happens in the show if that is what's happening. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But let's move into the Superman and Lois stuff. So we got a couple of, or actually probably 3 things, I guess, in total to talk about for Superman and Lois. So the first thing was some pretty cool news that came out. Not overly surprising because it was similar like last year and I guess, yeah, last year as well. But Superman and Lois is the number 2 DC TV show on HBO Max and number 17 overall, with it only being behind Peacemaker on the DC TV side of things. So it's ahead of like Titans and Doom Patrol. I mean, and Pennyworth, the origin of Batman's butler or whatever it was, is ahead of those. And, you know, all those shows, Titans, Doom Patrol, Pennyworth, and obviously Peacemaker as well, they all premiere on HBO Max. Superman and Lois airs, you know, it's pretty good for a show that doesn't even premiere on HBO Max and doesn't go on there until like a month or so after it finishes airing the entire season on the CW. That's pretty good. I mean, I think Peacemaker was only like a few spots ahead. I think it was like number 12 or something. Something like that. It wasn't like number 2 or anything. I think it was like number 12 or something, and then Superman and Lois was number 17. Now, the big thing around this is people asking, like, could this support an HBO Max move for Superman and Lois if the CW does not choose to renew it? And I mean, of course, this would be the perfect backing. It'd be giving it some pretty good support, in my opinion. And another thing of interest was that James Gunn actually liked a tweet that highlighted this information as well. Now, he could have liked the tweet only because of Peacemaker being mentioned, which it was in the tweet, but the tweet was 95% about Superman and Lois. So, I mean, it's an odd one to retweet, because to like, because a lot of other people were posting the information as well. That even highlighted that it was just Peacemaker was one of the top shows, but he specifically liked this one that also was heavily about Superman and Lois. Regardless of why he liked it, at least he knows it's a very popular product, that being Superman and Lois, and it might not make him want to push it out the door too quickly. And James has said he is fine and open with multiple versions of characters being around and all that across different mediums. It's just whether they step on each other's toes, that's where the issues come up. So, yeah, it's a good backing for Superman and Lois. But another concern, well, that wasn't a concern. I guess people are concerned that Superman and Lois isn't going to continue. So yeah, I guess we can move on and say another concern. So another concern about the story this time for Superman and Lois is that there are concerns over Clark going back to reporting in season 3 of Superman and Lois. Now, I'm surprised by this because I personally think it clearly plays well into this season's story with Bruno Mannheim and Intergang and even Lois' side of stuff and everything like that. Of course, after season 3, if that happens, you know, maybe it could be an issue in regards to consistency. Like, oh, Clark's meant to be a reporter, but, you know, this like the potential season 4 story or something doesn't line up with that, and then you sort of get a bit inconsistent. But I don't see how the bad outweighs the good for this coming season at the very least. To me, it seems like it's going to be fun, and I'm interested to see how the story plays out. But speaking of this season, they were actually filming a scene, I don't know what specifically for what episode, but it appeared to be in downtown Metropolis with explosions and all that going on. Now, even though I don't know what episode it would be, they roughly be in the back half of filming for this season. So not overly close to the finale, just in the back half. So I think they'd be on something like, if I had to guesstimate, 8, maybe 9 or something like that. Maybe end of 7, but I'd say 8 or 9 if I had to really make a guess. So a good few episodes before they start getting into the crazy, you know, ending type of moments that you would expect. I think they still got 15 episodes this season, like season 1 and 2. So yeah, still a third of the season to go, if not just over a third. But one of my worries, and from what I can tell a lot of others as well, and I'd mentioned this in previous videos when it was relevant, was the possibility that though we are dealing with a villain like Bruno Mannheim, most of the season could take place in Smallville and not Metropolis like you would expect. Now, I'm not saying that I'm against anything taking place in Smallville. It's where they live. It makes 100%. It's where they work at the Smallville Gazette. Obviously, you expect a lot to happen in Smallville still. It was more like what we've had the previous couple of seasons where it feels like the villain is from another town or Metropolis or something, and then they randomly go, I'm going to move to Metropolis and be evil there. Oh, not Metropolis, sorry, Smallville, and be evil there for 6 months while this season can take place. So that was my issue, like us being in Smallville with the villain the majority of the time, like the high majority of the time. That was a concern. So I'm still expecting it to be the case where we are in Smallville quite a decent amount of time. It was just the fact that I was worried that there'd be no Metropolis or very, very, very limited amount of Metropolis. But I am happy to see it looks like we're going to be there. And by there, I mean Metropolis later in the season as well, based off, you know, this filming that was going on. Because we know there will be moments where we are there earlier into the season as well. We saw said photos of like Superman, you know, in a couple, I don't know if it's a couple of different episodes or it was filming for just the same episode, but it was in different areas, like him on top of buildings, him on the street and stuff like that. The release of when these photos came out was a bit spread out and a bit inconsistent, so I'm not too sure if that was just for episode 1 or was episode 1 and then episode 3. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm just happy that we're going to be spending a decent amount of time there by the looks of it. But as I was saying before, you know, how we got The Flash coming out or premiering in like pretty much a month exactly from this point, or a month and 1 day or something like that. A trailer for Superman and Lois, I don't think is going to be too far away. It's a bit hard to tell because they've got like a weird release schedule for this mid-season. Like they've got shows coming out this coming week, but then it's only 2 shows, and then they've got another couple of shows coming out the week after that, and another couple of shows. Like usually the CW would be like either all of them in 1 week or just all of them over the space of 2 weeks. But they're really spread out. It's pretty much like over almost a month, if not like 6 weeks, where shows are premiering. It's very all over the place. So that makes it a bit harder to 100% predict when trailers would come out. But I would expect a Superman and Lois trailer, as I said before, and even another Gotham Knights trailer to be out either around the time of The Flash coming out or just before. But it could come out even earlier. Like we could get a Superman and Lois trailer potentially in the next couple of weeks rather than around a month just before The Flash comes out. But watch this space. I guess it just depends whether they want to start promoting it too early, because that can sometimes be an issue. And also might depend how much they want to promote. They have a lot that they want to promote in regards to the actual season, then we could get some stuff earlier. But if they only have 1 trailer planned, then we might be waiting a tiny bit longer for that to come out. But that's a wait and find out. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on all this. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.